I'm live streaming it to YouTube because basically I've been recording them for the past 6 weeks anyway, and I don't edit them, so there's no harm in just streaming them as a VOD anyway. Just stream it and leave it up as a VOD. Makes more sense that way, actually, than it would any other way. Can you ask purely Star Wars questions? Yes, you can do. I can't promise I'll be able to answer them. I'm not Drac, but I shall try. I can't believe I got blindsided by a flipping Discord update. That's what I get for clicking through menus and having preset titles and not taking time to check and just assuming that it's right. Oh well. I mean, it catches me once every 3 to 4 weeks anyway. Pretty much on time with the Discord update schedule. Uh, yeah, everybody is more than welcome to ramblings. Good times had by all. Well, good times not guaranteed, but I try my best. What in the What the What? What? What is that Fuso? I don't like it. Oh, Paul from Chicago. Paul from Chicago asks, so I'll toss one out. DK Brown suggests that Lexington's lack of armour was because they got the actual Jutland report and took the wrong lessons from them, i.e. boats exploding because of ammo handling rather than lack of armour. Thoughts? Now, I'm no expert, you'd have to turn to Drac to that, but from what I understand, um, partially it was that idea, but there was also the concept of, well, how do I be gentle with it? Um, the idea that they're part of the fleet screen, so therefore they wouldn't engage other capital ships. Um, that was basically it. There was a partial wrong lesson taken from Jutland, but it was also just that like these are fleet screen, they're not going to fight other battle cruisers or battleships, which, as I'm sure you're all probably aware, is a deeply, deeply flawed, very, very deeply flawed concept. It doesn't work for the very simple and honest reason that it just does not work. I am now. By the way, I've got both Discord and um, I've got Discord and YouTube open, so I can take questions from both. If anyone is watching on YouTube, because I know there are some subscribers who've come for UAD content from other channels who might be interested in asking questions, so that'll be interesting. Um, so okay, so let me see. So questions. Franz the Fox Demon asks, so Fleet, I hear you're a fan of Destroyerman. Well, okay, let me be clear. I like Destroyerman, but I'm not a fan. I'm interested in some of the ship design concepts and the idea of trying to build a 1940s era nation in a world that doesn't have industry. Wedged asks, would the Fusos have been more effective if converted into a AA configuration? He's provided a little picture here of a Fuso with its fore and aft turrets removed and replaced um, with 100mm twins, fore and aft, 3 forward, 1 super firing, 2 flat, and 4 aft, 3 flat, 1 super firing, and just retaining her 2 amidships turrets. I mean, they'd be better as AA ships. But they're not. But you've basically just sacrificed one of Japan's main warfighting assets to, in essence, um, well, to be somewhat blunt about it, basically get a glorified AA barge. Why would you want a glorified AA barge? Just build more Akazukis, or strip your old destroyers, or do literally anything else. Like, I don't care what you do, just do literally anything else. Um, Dragon 2000 asks, how useful were the Fusos? They had the capability to be very useful assets. They had the capability to be, well, to be mildly, interested about it. They had the capability to be to the Japanese what the QEs were to the British, if that makes sense. Just because the Japanese chose never to use them doesn't make them not useful. Japanese just chose not to use them. It's like the Germans with battleships post 1942. The fact that the Germans chose not to use Tirpitz doesn't make her not useful. The Fusos and Issei's never really had a chance to show what they could do, because by the time they were committed, it was in a desperate role they had no hope of succeeding in. Had they been used in the Guadalcanal campaign, which they could have been, or in operations supporting Japanese attacks into the Dutch East Indies, they would have had a chance to be useful. They could have slugged it out with Warspite. They might have lost, but it's not a guaranteed loss. If you want my honest opinion. Bunch of different people talking about the QEs and the Congo. No, the Congos are not. Well, no, Sulfur. That's not true at all, because the. Well, no, both the Fusos and the Issei's got upgrades. They got complete reboilerings. Like the Fusos and Issei's got full reboilerings, full fire control refits, secondary battery reworks. Like, everyone forgets that the Fusos and the Issei's could do 23 knots before rebuild, and do 24.5 knots after rebuild. They were faster than most Queen Elizabeths at the time. And Nagato and Mutsu were there running around at 26.5 knots, just laughing hysterically. And then the Yamato's there like, oh, what, you think just because I'm the largest battleship ever built, I'm slow? Laughs hysterically and only being 1 knot slower than a US fast battleship that's not a Congo. Unless you're a Yamato, unless you're a cruiser or an Iowa, if a Yamato cranks itself up to full speed and gets into a stern chase with you, yeah, good luck. Fuso doing 24.5 knots is no, it's not cope, it just is. The ships were in no position to do that in wartime? What? What sort of a comment is that, Dromasaurus? Like... that change the fact that when they came out of rebuilds, that's what they were designed to do? And of course, the R class is supposed to be able to do 23 knots. They can't. It's not worth bashing the Fusos for something similar, especially when they lost less speed. Steak the Dog asks, so this is brought on by a conversation in another server. For whoever else is watching on YouTube, I don't know who you are, but welcome. You can ask questions as well. I'm checking the YouTube chat as well, so feel free to ask your own questions. It's like a dry dock with Drakenophel, except I'm Discount Drak. This is a name that has both mine and Drak's approval, and we'd laugh hysterically. So Stick the Dog. I'll just quickly wrap up the Fuso and Issei bit quickly. Dromasaurus, I want to ask you this. They have equivalent fire control to optical fire control to the QEs. In fact, some would argue perhaps they have better optical fire control than the QEs. They have 12-14s. The QEs have... well, in their position in the Japanese fleet. No, that's the position. That's the position that they should have served. They should have been used that way. People asking me if they're not used, they had the capability to be the Japanese version of the QEs. The fact that they weren't is a different matter entirely. Steak the Dog asks, so this is brought on by a conversation in another server, but how would you do a 1930s rebuild of Blucher had she survived? Well, if Blucher survived, by the 30s she's going to be in a bit of a rundown state. You've got two options, basically. You can use her as a get-around to the Treaty of Versailles, in essence. So you can gut her completely to just use her hull to build something more advanced. Or you can do a more manageable refit and attempt to keep costs down. If Blucher being the what could be described as the last gasp of the armored cruiser, the traditional armored cruiser. Yeah, I know that technically she's not a traditional armored cruiser, and I know also that but yeah. So Blucher, you have a few options. So Blucher as a hull, she's not very hydrodynamic, so she can. So let's go through both, shall we? Luckily, I have my Conways here to give me all the information I need. Okay, so here we are. No, I don't want U-boats, thank you. No, I want Blucher, please. Thank you. Here we are. Blucher. SMS Blucher. Okay. So, alright, 15,000 tons, 70,000 tons fully loaded. So not appreciably greater than a treaty cruiser. I mean, 5,000 tons is a lot of weight, to be sure. Armor probably needs completely reworking. The secondary battery is going to have to be completely reworked in how it's arranged. Coal firing is going to have to go regardless of what the refit is. Whether you keep the hexagonal layout depends entirely on whether it's a full rebuild or whether it's a refit. If it's a large-scale refit, then the boilers are going to be reconditioned and perhaps replaced without too much loss to the superstructure, and the hexagonal layout is going to be retained. The casemate secondaries are probably going to be retained, although you're going to see the smaller casemate guns landed and exchanged for more AA, probably 88s, since the 105s won't fit. And a lot of 20mm scattered all over the place. If she's having this sort of minor refit, I'd expect her to stay with coal. because by that point she's basically being refitted as a almost large coast defense ship. An asset that basically tells anything that's not a Royal Navy battleship or Soviet battleship to get the fuck out of German waters. I'm not going to ask twice. Yes, but early war. Yeah, a Schleswig-Holstein style refit, but perhaps a bit more extensive because she's a more capable ship. They might, if they're going down to recondition the boilers, they might, for Blucher, swap for turbines. They might swap for turbines. Not sure. Probably not. This is the thing. This is the minor. This is probably the minor refit. Hang on, I have to turn on my lights. I can't see shit. Well, this is the thing. Yes, but there was a fair few of those rounds lying around. And the 8.1-inch gun was a gun used extensively in German coastal batteries and German railway artillery. 8.1, 21 centimeter. She's got an 8.1-inch gun. If she's having the more extensive rebuild, you're basically looking at a ship that is completely gutted. If the complete rebuild option is basically only taken if the rebuild starts after the Nazis come to power, because it's basically them using her as a way to get around Versailles. So she's basically completely gutted, stretched, and comes out as this sort of large well, in essence, this quasi-Deutschland, almost? What I mean by that is she's basically got either 3 twin or 3 triple 11-inch of the same type that the Deutschlands have. And she's capable of a similar speed on turbines, with a fully reworked secondary battery, and a complete readjustment of her format. There you are. Okay. Rune asks, "Hello, Fleet. This is a question I've been thinking about for a while. Likely my only question of today. Say for some reason, regardless of how impossible this is, let's say China is unified by the Kuomintang after World War II. China is almost certainly a bit better off in the beginning. What about other Asian countries? Korea needs to get going as a country and Japan needs to recover. Does the existence of a non-communist China affect these processes negatively by a huge margin? US aid that would have been otherwise directed at Korea, Japan, likely going to China and all that going on? Doesn't really change too much, to be honest with you. The US aid package would just be divvied up equally. The US aid that was going to Taiwan will go to China, and it'll likely be bigger. And of course, there'll also be the glory of the Korean War, which will be glorious because it'll be an absolute wipe. It'll be over in 6 months. Victorious she had a day, bless her. Wouldn't Japan get dismantled industry? No more than they already did. The peace treaty was signed. Bear in mind that China didn't cease to exist, as in the Republic of China didn't cease to exist until 1949, when the Civil War ended in a communist victory. What you've basically done is say that the nationalists win. Did I see the Akagi and... No, Dromasaurus. Did I see the Akagi and Yorktown footage? No. What Akagi and Yorktown footage? Oh, dive in the Midway Rex. Nice. They've been live streaming the footage. Well, that's good. Good for them. No, there are no F4s. Those are scimitars. Oh, nice. But yeah, so it's nice that they're actually diving on the Rex now. Good stuff. Hey, I'm doing well for a non-co-host session. It's rare for me to be going this well. Have I ever heard of Skynear History? He does videos on Rex and the ships. No, never heard of him. What else have you got for me? All 22 of you. We got Querny2, the Dromasaurus, good old Sulfur, the Marshal, Hoshi, the Samurai, Scoot, good old Scoot, good old Benno, Barbatis, good old regulars, Steak, one of the regulars, Yenna, one of the regulars, a lot of regulars here tonight. Some new people, Ethel the Thruck, Rune back again, the bloody C-Cube MacGuffin. Weenie Hunt Jr., nice to see you. My fellow my subordinate communication officers. Nice to see you guys. Paul from Chicago, nice to have you. Rednall, awfully nice of you to drop in. And Beskar Valkyrie, I see you all in there. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I will attempt to answer any question that's asked of me. I may not be very good at it, but I shall try. Anti-tank guided missile Fox asks, your opinion on the K2 designed battle cruisers that started to come after the Hood and after the failure of the G3s as battle cruisers. How would they have done without the treaties? Well, there's a reason the K2s were just not taken forward. Because the designs that came after were better. G3 is infinitely superior. That started to come after Hood, after the failure of the G3s as battle cruisers? What? You want to run that by me again? The only battle cruisers that could come after were well, K2. Well, you're never going to see the K2s because the G3s were not failures. So I don't. This seems like a question that's dead in the water before it starts. The G3s weren't rejected as battle cruisers. Fox. They weren't. The G3s were. The G3s were chosen. The K2s were not. No one wants to come to the stream. Sad fleet noises. Everyone's here in Discord, which is lovely, but no one's on YouTube. It makes me sad. Sad fleet noises. What? No! Fox, what are you talking about? No, they weren't. The G3s were the battle cruisers, the N3s were the battleships. look, I need Drac to sort this one out, and I'm not gonna get him as he's in the continental United States. And while Drac has done Rambling's appearances from a great many places, I doubt I'll get one from America. USS Grey Ghost, both on YouTube and on Discord, seemingly at the same time, asks, what might change if an entire squadron of F-2F biplane fighters got sent back to a US military base in 1915 or a British one in 1915? Well, you've basically got a bunch of post-World War I era biplane fighters that are just going to go absolutely hog wild on German aircraft. And whose pilots also carry these wonderful things called parachutes. Yeah, I'm aware, Grey Ghost, the Grumman F2F. I know what the Grumman F2F is. I do watch Rex's Hank. I'm on good terms with Rex, actually. He's a good lad. 10 out of 10. Best bloke. Yes, Grey Ghost, I know. The one with the retractable landing gear. Yeah, they'll have some impact on the war. They'll definitely be racking up rather good kill counts. Until spares run out. The squadron's going to shrink and shrink and shrink as spares get run down. And, speed doesn't really matter. Not in World War I. Not in the sort of conflicts that the F-2F is built for. The F-2F is not boom and zoom. A10 Brainlet asks, oh sorry no, CQ Profit asks, best looking aircraft carrier of all time. Oh, that's easy. Graf Zeppelin. No, I'm kidding. Not Graf Zeppelin. Chat explodes. No. Best looking aircraft carrier of all time is a really easy pick for me. It's Furious. I love the way Furious looks at the final stage before she's scrapped. Looks beautiful. Well, all three of them look quite nice, actually. A10 Brainlet asks, serving under BT or Rossosvensky, which would you choose? Rossosvensky, in all honesty. I'd rather serve under Rossosvensky knowing I'm going to Tsushima, but knowing that the Admiral cares and is competent, especially if I'm serving on board his flagship, than serving under fucking BT and knowing he doesn't give a damn about me or the Navy. Hoshi asks, which nation do you think had the best interwar naval air program? Draw. It's as simple as that. It's just a draw. It's not. It's just a draw. They all come to the pretty much similar conclusions to pretty much the same problems. Beskar Valkyrie asks, Drax Sub 1. That's a new one. That's a new nickname. Any opinion on whether Alaska or Guam could have been refitted, converted to more modern roles post-World War II, or at least retained as fleet ships of any use as escorts or screens? Or do you think the US Navy had the right idea getting rid of them as quickly as they did? No, the US had the right idea to shove them into mothballs and then get rid of them. Because, to put it bluntly, if you want to do missile cruiser conversions and test beds, you've got far cheaper platforms to convert to do that. if you want to have a modern cruiser with large guns that punches things really hard, you've got Des Moines that are cheaper to run and arguably more effective. If you want a large surface combatant that hits really hard, it's tough as old nails, it is going to last a long time in combat, Iowas are there for that, for only 25% more cost to run per tick than Alaska. So, the Alaskas do not have a role. There is a reason why the Alaskas went the way of the dodo aggressively quickly. Oh, Jesus, we are really, we've got a lot of people coming in today. I mean, I know I accidentally didn't pick the entire server, so whoops. But we got a lot of people coming in today. This is great. 30 people. I don't even have a co-host or a Drac appearance. Replace all active US protected cruisers, their ammo replacement parts on February 5th, 1895 with Olympia-class cruisers. How much does this either help or hinder the US in terms of power projection or effectiveness? You do realise just how quite wide the protected cruiser gamut is, right, for the USN. You are aware of just exactly what you're asking me to go and dig out the stats for, right? I've got to go and dig out the stats for basically every other protected cruiser that the USN has in service and go, right, okay, what is the US doing and what is Olympia better than insert XYZ here? Okay, that's not too bad. If all of them being sent to Olympia, yep, that's just better. That's just better. Yep, Olympia's just better. Olympia's just better. Wonka Gaming, that's on YouTube. The 2003 invasion of Iraq was a mistake. And just a random comment and he left. Alright, that's funny. He's right though, but never mind. It was in the post-thingy environment, it's not surprising that it happened the way it did. Is there a semi-regular schedule to Ramblings? Yes. It's at it starts at 5:30 to 6-ish every Monday and runs until I get tired. Or keel over. Or the audience all leaves. Yeah, I'm not reading that one out. Because that's just wrong. Well, folks, I think I've got a bot in my YouTube comments. Funny. Never mind. Although he may be trolling. I think he's trolling. What a legend. Anyway. Where are we? Just decided, like, asking a weird-ass question. Given ideal circumstances, do you think a fighter pilot winning a 1v20 is possible? For example, you shove Hans-Joachim Marseille in an Me-262 given Gantz of Tactis and put him against 20 Heinkel HE-45 manned by barely trained 95-ish Furman German teenagers, and can her hands sweep the air? Yes, obviously. He's in a fucking... He could sweep the air in a Spitfire, or... He could sweep the air in a Spitfire, or a Mustang, or a Focke-Wulf 190, or a late model Bf 109 in that circumstance. Air combat is such a thing dependent on the aircraft involved, the skill of the pilots, the place it's taking place in, the weather conditions. Air combat has seen some of the weirdest things that we know of take place. What would Der Flinger look like if they somehow survived till 1942 and Germany doesn't Anschluss its neighbours? Oh. Oh, you want that picture? Okay, I'll go and get that quickly. I just... And the advantage of this is that I can actually show this to the live stream, because, so I can actually change the image that I'm showing and show the people... Well, I don't want to say the people at home, but the people, watching. That's the Flinger. There you are, that's about right. Tolsy does work. And for those of you watching on the internet, I can find it. There it is. Hey, I'm just gonna I need to shrink it down a bit because it's got a bit big. But yeah, there we go. There you are. That's what it looks like. It is a land that is large. It should be coming through in a minute once the stream catches up. There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm just editing it now, watching myself edit it. That's hilarious. But yeah, so there we go. So now I need to go. Well, first I need to change back to the normal image, so that now that I've shown that. Resize. Hey, look at that. It's great. Right. Okay, back to work. Okay, so hope you like the music, by the way, those of you who are watching on the internet. I can't speak. Cayman Azure 20 asks, in your opinion, what's the best looking battleship and why? Ooh, I have a soft spot for the Hispanias. I know, you may all be surprised by that, but I have a real soft spot for the Hispanias. I just do. I like the way they look. They're like the ultimate expression of the coastal defense ship concept taken to its logical conclusion. A coastal defense dreadnought. Where are we? Replace all Polish tanks and tankettes and their repair parts and ammo in Poland with the Matilda IIs, Chaffees, or M5 Stuarts. Which causes the most interesting outcome, which causes the funniest? Most interesting is, well, it's a Chaffee. The Chaffee is mobile, equipped with a radio, and has the most powerful gun on the Polish battlefield. Capable of knocking out any German tank, without exception. And is immune to some of the return fire it will receive from the Germans. It's also extremely mobile and easy to run. Matilda IIs, again, similar. Immune to everything the Germans have, as short of an 88. But slow. The only Polish tank divisions they fit with is, yes, I've seen Wonka, but no, we're not doing that. They'd only fit with the divisions that operated R-35s. They're too slow for the divisions that operate 7TPs. They don't really work. For them. M5 Stuarts, again, basically the same thing as the Chaffee. Pretty much, just no change in that, if I'm going to be honest. it. Funniest outcome, the Germans just get encircled multiple times and several panzer divisions get wiped to the last tank. What if Yamato's sisters had been disabled, abandoned, torped by the Japanese during Center Force, but it didn't sink like they expected, and the US finds it later? Will they tow it back to Pearl for study, beach it for study, or just sink it? And if one of the first two, what would change about US tactics to sink Yamato or technology during or post-war? It changes nothing about US tactics to sink the Yamato or technology the US is using in any way if they capture it. No change at all. It'll just confirm what they already suspected. The only thing it will do is be like, oh fuck, these things are bigger than we thought. Basically. For those asking about the questions, follow-up questions about the Der Flinger, which I've gotten to now. Jena, does it get the 1.8cm flak? No, it's a mixed secondary battery like Bismarck. Beskar Valkyrie, Spiffy, running 15 inches like Bismarck, or whether looking more at the 11 inches or maybe Scharnhorst Gneisenau. No, she's got the 12-inch guns that she had when she was built, and it's most likely that if the Germans have Der Flinger in service with her 12-inch guns and the ability to make more, you're going to see Scharnhorst and Gneisenau coming into service with 12-inch guns, not 11-inch guns. Since the largest guns the Germans will have in service will be the 12-inch, not the 11-inch. Yes, the Hispanias, you gotta love them. It's not UNC Samurai, it's not a Chaffee, it's just 5 Stuarts in a trench coat. Yeah, that's what I mean, like, if they've got Der Flinger, they're gonna use 12-inch, because they've got the ability to. Especially since Scharnhorst and Gneisenau are... Why did USN plans for the 1920 South Dakota not have more armor and the Lexingtons lack armor? It comes down to the stupid rule the US had about lengths of ship being armored, which is something Drac covered in his video on the North Carolina design briefs. The US had this really stupid rule that you had to have a certain main belt length, and that this was sacrosanct. So it didn't matter, because you'll notice there that the main belt area actually runs well past the forward end of that barbette, which I know it doesn't look like much, but that is a lot of extra armor weight the ship has to carry. USS Grey Ghost asks, give the Gneisenau 11-inch 45 or 50 caliber guns. How much more powerful would they be, our Lord and Saviour, the Fleet of Oceans? First off, I've told you to stop calling me that. I'm not anyone's Lord and Saviour, I'm just a guy who started doing this for fun, and it's kind of spiraled way out of my control, and now I have a YouTube channel, and I do these things, and I don't understand why I'm popular. Like, why do people want to watch me? I'm just a guy, alright? I just do these things for fun. Like, I don't know anything. I'm not Drac, or Rex, or anyone else. Like, why would you want my opinion? I don't know anything. You do realise, Grey Ghost, that Scharnhorst's guns were, were 54.5 caliber weapons. Yes, they were. They were 54.5 caliber weapons. It's part of the reason they were as powerful as they were. Well, no, they don't look short, actually. They're just—it's because they're 11-inch guns. They look reasonable for battleship guns. But it's important to bear in mind that those are 11-inch guns. They just look. Oh, that was a sound. Someone subscribed and left a message in a language I do not understand. I do not understand that language. Oh, no. I don't understand that language. And someone else subscribed. Now we've got, wow, three people watching on YouTube. Which means that I'm possibly going to get questions from YouTube. That's going to be interesting. No. Yes, come on. You know you want to. You know you want to fill up that chat with questions. You know you want to. Did I miss anything? Dear Fleet, the alt time set up to the US. No, I'm not doing alt history timelines today. I do not have anybody to bounce ideas off of. I'm not touching that. I'm sorry, I can't. Oh, that's right, you're rude. I keep forgetting you have different names. Now I remember. What does that even say? I'm just gonna grab that if it'll let me. There we go. Hey. And I'm gonna punch that into Google Translate, and we're gonna see. I'm gonna see what it says. Well, self-promoting much there, Rune? I am the unparalleled hero of all times and modern times, and I am the target of the government and the military. Bit of a self-promotion there, mate, don't you think? Sulfur asks, what is a ship that has its potential wasted or not utilized in a suitable way during World War II? Nagato or Mutsu. That's a really easy pick, Nagato or Mutsu. They could have been useful during Guadalcanal. Easily. Heck, any of the Japanese battleships that aren't the Congos are my pick for that. They could have done so much work, and they just didn't because they were afraid. Ethelthruck, you don't have to ping me. I do read the chat, but thank you for the ping. I've been watching on YouTube, but I'm at work. Good job on my username. I think only Drac had gotten it first try before. And then you might have answered some of my stupid questions before. Anyway, 2-for-1 post. 1. What nation would have most likely adopted the Pitcairn Aerocar of the 1930s for military use on both land and sea if they had the bright spark to do so? See photo. The Japanese did. They used it as a artillery spotting aircraft and, in the later war, as a quasi-anti-submarine patrol asset, equipped with a depth charge in the forward observer bay. 2. What small nation would it have been funny to see become a decent naval power in their region during World War I and World War II? Spain already was. Spain had more than enough firepower to basically make, prior to the Civil War breaking out, to basically tell everyone in the region to, no, this is our area of operations, don't come near. Our coastline is our own. South American nations don't really do much. Honestly, I would have loved to see a Yugoslavian Adriatic fleet. I would have loved to have seen a Yugoslavian Adriatic fleet with 1 or 2 small battleships, like a good core of like 8,000 ton small treaty cruisers, like a bunch of modern destroyers. That would have been nice to see. Give nice now the Boeing guns and loaders. That's worse. That's a step down. Dromasaurus, it'd be funny to actually see Denmark build a decent fleet again. The Danes don't have the money, sadly. They had the Austrian fleet for a little bit until the Italians said no. I am not your Lord and Savior. Oh, that's a funny meme. Are you there? Fleet, it's me, Hosh. I'm saving that one. I'm saving that one for a raid day because that is funny to me. And I am very fond. I am very fond of fleet memes. I like fleet memes. They are funny. I am hopefully impossible as is. The Beiyang fleet surviving to World War II and having a slugfest with the Kido Butai. Well, there's a problem with that. I have absolutely no idea what the hell the Chinese fleet would look like. None. Someone actually designed a Yugoslavian battleship. I don't know how accurate. That's not very accurate. That's a post-war battleship. It's a bit silly. Grey Ghost asks, give each class of World War I battleship that saw combat in World War II an Italian-style rebuild. That's a huge question. That is a huge question that I would have to take several hours to answer. I'll store that away for later use, and besides, I don't have anyone to discuss it with, so I don't like doing those sort of rebuilds unless I'm really confident without additional support. Rune, I don't know why, but I have a soft spot for the Qing, even though they were hopeless enough to get their arse beat in a rather early stage Japanese empire. Yeah, I know, it's nice watching the Japanese get their teeth kicked in. Yeah, I see there are people leaving and new people being dragged in by the interesting kerfuffle that I made. For those who are new here, welcome. This is Fleet's Random Ramblings. Basically, it's a discount dry dock where you get to ask all the questions that Drag just wouldn't answer. You can ask air-related questions, you can ask land-related questions, you can ask trade-related questions, you can ask starship-related questions, you can ask sci-fi-related questions, you can ask MacGuffin-related questions. And I will attempt to answer them. Build a Fleet of Ocean's dream fleet for World War I and World War II. World War One, okay. Battleship, Queen Elizabeth. Battle cruiser, Congo. Armored cruiser, Blucher. Light cruiser, World War One era Town. Destroyer, V&W. Submarine, British E-Class. World War II, battleship, Yamato. Fast battleship / battle cruiser, Iowa, or in that sort of role. Carrier, Illustrious. Heavy cruiser, County. Light cruiser, Cleveland. Destroyer, Fletcher. Submarine, Gato. And then Anti-Tank Guide and Missile Fox asks, in the 1920s, the Shah of Iran wants to become a great power with a great power fleet after striking most of modern Iran's oil reserves. His dream is to reunite the Muslim Persian empires. How do you build his fleet to achieve this? Well, it's funny you should mention that, actually, because I was in a roleplay a while ago, and I did... I did ask Seadollars if he would do me a solid and he'd make me some Persian ships, and bless his heart, he did! And I think I still have them if I can find them. Just need to remember where the hell they are. I know they're somewhere here. Just need to remember where they are. I don't know where they are. Like, I had a bunch of Iranian ships. Basically, you build a set of... You take advantage of the scrapping of the British 13.5-inch fleet and order a bunch of new-build capital ships using British 13.5-inch guns. So you have a class of 4 26-knot capital ships with 4 13.4s, and you have a pair of battle cruisers, one of which may be Tiger, but it'd probably be better to have a new build that has 8 13.5s and is capable of 32 knots. Your cruisers, again, probably by Arethusa's, 8 6-inch guns, it's perfect for what you need. Destroyers, again, probably by British, keep them on your good side. It's one of those, but you have to basically play. You have to basically play for not play for keeps. That's the wrong word. But you've got to play to your strengths. Sulphur, you are now take overriding control of British Railways in 1950. Redesign the modernisation plan at your leisure. I'm given a blank check. Oh, I am I? British Railways is dissolved back into the Big Six. A railway up the centre of Britain. The Great Western Railway returns, the LNER returns, LMS returns, the Great Central is handed off from the LNER to a separate company that also runs lines around Manchester in the north. There are also 2 companies in Scotland where the LNER and LMS end in that northern part of the country, and the southern also returns, for a total of 7 companies. And then I just leave them to do the job with government subsidies. Make sure they get it right. I don't know if you've waited in the past on this, the best of Valkyrie. If the Japanese warning to the US gets through properly December 7th, and they get the message to Pearl immediately, does the fleet have enough time to mount any sort of reasonable defence, or is it still pretty much a foregone conclusion? It's hard to say. It would depend on how things went, what went differently, and what did not go differently. Oh, fuck. Second. Give HMS Agincourt 8 Des Moines turrets, and she's going to have a whale of a time basically leading cruiser squadrons in the Great War. Give me a second. Right, now then. Pseudo Amtrak but in the 50s? No, not pseudo Amtrak but in the 50s. In World War II, she is the best convoy escort the Royal Navy has, but that's all she's good for. She's not fast enough to chase down anything, but she's basically the best convoy escort you could ever ask for. Dear Fleet. Well, first of all, I'm not a deer, unless I've had some really horrible secrets hidden from me. But secondly, flying battleship design. Well, they weren't my designs. They came. A very nice friend came up for me. Came up with them for me. Imagine her versus the Japanese cruiser squadron in World War II. She loses hard to the Japanese cruiser squadron. She's one ship versus several. Well, no, our Nat should be taking the place of an R-class, doing the same job. And, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that she's got 7 Des Moines turrets. She's one ship, fighting several. Probably. She may be a priority target. Who knows, maybe she takes the place of Royal Oak in Scarpa Flow and gets yeeted off the face of the earth by Gunter fucking Green. Who knows? No, they're private. They're private, Sulfur. They are the Big 7 now, as opposed to the Big 4. And also, they've had all the money that the government owes them from the fucking war paid to them. So instead of the modernization plan, they've been paid the money they were owed for their war service. It's the same as it was before the war, which was a perfectly running system that was run by people who've been running the systems since they were created and knew exactly what they were doing, rather than some government-appointed pen pushers who didn't know jack shit. And the reason the Great Central was separated from the LNER, and along with basically all the lines the Great Central used to run, is basically to keep it away from being closed, as that's vital capacity that the country will need in future. The Great Central will probably have to be the most heavily subsidised, since its main line into London is one of the more... it will be one of the least profitable companies of the Big 7. Sorry, Bish. The Teddy Roosevelt timeline was done before the recording started. Well, the Great Central can actually start regaining money on the basic premise that as London expands, and seeing as it's the Great Central's only main line, as London suburbia expands, the Great Central's in a really good position to offer fast service from Sheffield to London. Proper just really start capitalising on the crack express runs. Manchester might be a bit of a stretch with whatever electrification work the LMS does on the West Coast main line, but the GCR can really twist itself into being a real go-getter in the Midlands. Flash rambling opinion time. What is the historical blunder of the Royal Navy that ticks you off the most, and why? Putting Beatty in command of the battlecruiser fleet instead of Admiral Sturdy. Admiral Sturdy was a better choice, a better commander, and much better at his job. Why they gave the job to Beatty is just connections. It should have been Sturdy. It rightfully should have been Sturdy. It deserved to be Sturdy. I know Drac feels similar. I see a bunch of you newbies in the chat, like N758KD. I see a bunch of you new people in the chat. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. I take all questions. There's no such thing as a silly question. Why not nationalise under a largely previous management then? Because they did that and then immediately turned back on it and got rid of it. And the British government can't run anything like a railway system. They proved they couldn't run it. The entirety of British Railways' existence was just a constant downward trend in efficiency, productivity, profit, and quality of service. The railways only got better when Margaret Thatcher nationalised them. Sorry, Margaret Thatcher quasi-privatised it. She didn't... It's one of the things I don't get. Margaret Thatcher did full privatisations of everything else and didn't fully privatise the railways, which is stupid. She should have gone all the way. She should have fully privatised the railways and they'd be even better than they are now. USS Grey Ghost asks, why is the Fleet of Oceans the Fleet of Oceans? What do you mean? As in, why do I do what I do? Why is my name what it is? Yes, including the railway infrastructure. Leaving that separate from the companies that run the trains is a recipe for disaster. Silver, you either go all the way or you don't. You either have a fully national system or a fully private system. But what I mean by that is you either have the company that runs the trains should also own the tracks they run on. Make the scariest ghost warship fleet full of actual... Well, yeah, but the US railway network is a unique circumstance. It's adapted to the problems that it's faced in the best way that it can. They're not good. And to be fair, there's going to be a breakup, I think, of some of the big Class 1s soon. But the US is a very unique circumstance because of its large size. Sulphur nationalisation was the ruin of Britain's railway network. Anyway, should we have some other questions? I think we're boring the rest of the... Yeah, well, because for the simple fact that in Britain, you've basically got a different... Well, basically, British Railways would be like Swiss private companies. Fiercely proud of the service they provide, and railways that serve the communities that they operate into. It's not like the US, where the railways built the communities and they feel like they're owed service and they're owed their profits and etc, etc. It'd be like Swiss private companies are today, where they're proud to serve the communities that they operate into. Same as German private railway companies. Same as Italian private railway companies that also exist. Same as the Japanese private railway companies that exist across Japan. Yes, there is a profit motive, but there's also the deep, rich, continuous history of those companies that 9 times out of 10 has proven just as big a motivator as the profit motive. The 1 of 10 is what you've seen in the US, and even then, not all railways had it. Railways like the Southern, Great Northern, New York Central, Pennsylvania. After the Battle of Lissa, is it true that Captain... Mr. Tron's saying this. Maximilian Dobelski, after ramming several ships, got the nickname Maximilian de Pazzo. I don't know. If you want me to answer that question, I don't know. QWERTY2 asks, Dear Fleet, what is your favourite modernised dreadnought? The Hispanias. Why are you surprised by this? Grey Ghost, you take over Austria-Hungary about 20 years before it collapsed. What changes do you implement to stop that from happening? Austria-Hungary requires a lot of changes. Well, first thing you need to do is I basically need to completely rework the, I am not in a fit state to make that work. I like that Star Wars Black Widow. That's awesome. I love it. That's great. Ask me again, Grey Ghost. I don't know enough about Austria-Hungary to really... I know a bit about Austria-Hungary, but I don't know enough to make that decision myself. Like I say, I need a co-host or two for that sort of question. No, I don't want New York Central duplexes. No, we don't talk about it. Because we don't talk about it. It never happened. There were no duplexes. Pennsylvania steam power peaked at the K4, I don't know what you mean. There was no T1. Japanese tanks when fighting other real time. Oh, so that's War Thunder Mobile. I thought it was a scam. It actually exists. I do not have to accept the T1 Trust, or the T1 they're building. They can't claim the record from Mallard. They're never going to. It's her record and it will stand forever. Basically because they're not using a steam engine properly. It's a new build. I love that. X-Wing P-51. I am 100% in favor of that. That is great. How long have I been going? Wow, only an hour? Feels longer. So, now that we've passed an hour, I get to start doing the bit I've been wanting to do since we started this. For you see, gentlemen, and ladies who may be present, this is not an ordinary ramblings. Oh, no, 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 no. This is a very special cookie. No, we're not going to get more UAD. That ended very badly last time. Besides, I'm already doing a Succession campaign series with Rex's Hangar and Brother Monroe. What more do you want? Like, there will be a Ramblings where I'll have both of them on to discuss the first 30 years of the campaign, and that'll be happening soon. So watch out for that. No, Fox. No. I can't get it out anyway. It's too heavy, and the wheels would ruin the desk, and the oil needs changing in it, so, you know, like... What? Me and Fox are talking about the model steam engine I've got in the back garden. What did she think she was talking about? But yeah, so... It's a joke. I was making a joke. I don't actually have a model train in my back garden. I used to, but I had to take it down when we moved. Anyway, so, what's going to happen is I'm going to go from top to bottom, and each of you are going to get your chance to have your 3 minutes of ramblings. I'm going to invite each of you up for 3 minutes exactly, if you want to, it's not compulsory obviously, to talk about any subject that you like. Provided it's within YouTube's terms of service, because we are live on YouTube. Sierra, shut up. Please. Don't. But yeah, this is a little bit of fun. I like to do every now and then. So we'll start with QWERTY2, if he's willing, for his 3 minutes in the sun.
Okay, out of nowhere.
Your 3 minutes starts now.
Okay, so, I've been looking up the proposed Derflinger modifications that I had found on ShipBucket, and I was wondering, would that be the same deal as what happened with, the other not battleship, the other ship we were talking about? Ah, shit, what was it? Would they have used those 12 inchers, I believe they were 12 inchers, on the Admiral Hipper class still, if they kept the Derflingers around?
Well, first off, the Admiral Hipper's cruisers with 8-inch guns, so I don't know quite where you've made that connection. I assume you mean the Sharnhorse.
Oh, yes, that's my bad.
If they have the Derflinger's 12-inch, yeah, you're gonna have 12-inch Sharnhorse, simple as.
Would they have tried to build more of them, or would the Washington Naval Treaty not allowed that?
Well, first off, they're under Versailles, so Derflinger will probably be their only capital ship they're allowed to keep, with all of the pre-dreadnoughts going to the scrapyard, most likely. And
Good point.
And Derflinger being the sole capital ship, with them allowed to rebuild her, but not replace her.
Makes sense.
Which of course means thank God we don't get the bloody Deutschland, because there's no free dreadnoughts to replace. Thank God for that.
Thank God. Yeah.
Excuse me 1 second. I have to take a phone call. It's important.
That is fine. Now that I think about it, I also had the other thought of, if she... No, they probably would have just kept that one, to be fair. That is a very lovely crocodile. For those on YouTube, it's a video of a Lego crocodile engine. Yes. I do believe they are, Sulfur. I really love that Naboo Starfighter Spitfire. That's really pretty. So, I'm thinking about it, and if I remember correctly, wasn't one of the Pan American battleships, or dreadnoughts, excuse me, turned into a carrier? I can't remember specifically if one of them was.
And your time's up.
Ah, shit.
Thank you very much, QWERTY.
No problem.
And now it's Sulfur. Good old Sulfur.
Yep. Hello. Good day.
Hello.
I'm here to undo some Edward Thompson propaganda.
Your time starts now.
Alright, so everyone will probably know the Flying Scotsman, whose designer is the very well-known Sir Nigel Gresley. And he is a brilliant engineer. However, his ideas were also somewhat flawed. And Edward Thompson, his successor, worked to undo some of those flaws and improve the LNER. However, it's been since his work has since been slandered by many people, and it is very unfortunate. And I'm working to rewrite most Wikipedia articles about him.
Wow.
Essentially, Gresley's steam engines are very powerful, but they're also fairly maintenance heavy. And during World War II, there's not much maintenance ability. There's not much capacity to maintain Gresley's engines. And so Thompson rebuilt some of Gresley's engine, not a lot of them, about 10 to 20 at most. And those resultant engines are often considered bad performing, ugly, and overall not a indignity to Gresley's design. However, in the archives, it's said the opposite is true, in that they performed better with less maintenance and were capable of roughly the same work. And it is probably, and why Thompson is slandered by Gresley is because of the very quickly changing view of railways during the 40s and 50s, and which went from a very glamorous time to a very austere, practical situation, because largely the British economy and the general World War II happening. That's my theory. I'm not sure how true it is, but that's basically it.
Wow. You did that with 10 seconds left.
Perfect timing. Right, thank you, Flick.
You're welcome. So I know that Hosh doesn't want to go next, so next is UNC Samurai. Never mind. Next is Scoot. Oh, never
Okay.
mind. Oh, never mind.
Sorry.
Okay, they're both here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so we'll go one at a time then, unless you two want to do something jointly. And I'll give you 6 minutes.
No, you go ahead. I don't have that much to say.
Alright then, so Scoot goes first with 3 minutes, starting now.
I don't really have a topic. I'm just playing Naval Art. I have a question for you, Fleet, though.
Okay.
Other than the 3-inch 50 caliber, what would be a viable alternative to that gun in the post-war period?
British 4.5. Bofors.
perhaps a 57mm.
Possibly.
I know the Swedes had fairly large mount. I think the French had some too.
It's likely. But it's hard to say.
I suppose.
Because it's that the 3-inch was moved to for a reason. Like it became.
Yeah.
Like, we all know why it was moved to because it was needed.
It was also a perfect blend of firepower and
construction. Yeah.
yeah. It was also small enough to fit on basically everywhere a large Bofors mount could fit.
Yep. Basically, you can get a twin 3-inch wherever you bloody well liked.
Hmm.
It's marvelous.
Right, let's meet.
Well, alright. I guess. So, if you're fine to lose the last of your minute time.
Yep, that's fine.
Alright. So, Samurai, you have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Starting now.
Two things. First of all, those of you who are into Legos and are railroad aficionados, please be sure to show your support for the Orient Express set when it comes out in November. We have not gotten very many steam locomotive sets in the last several years, and if you help show support for it and buy it, hopefully those improved sales figures will convince Lego to produce some more. Second of all, I realize everyone's doing a lot of stuff from home now and doing a lot of shopping online, but please remember to support your local comic and local gaming stores, especially if they remember the F part of the FLGS, the friendly part. Those folks are very rare, and the ones that know what they're doing, they really do rely on the community. They obviously aren't going to be able to compete with like Amazon and stuff on price, but the gaming hobby world would just not function without them. So that's pretty much all I have to say.
This post has been brought to you by the local game store community manager. Dear. Good times. Oh, we do have fun. Okay, right, I guess that's all from you,
Yeah.
Samurai? Alright then.
Thanks.
Oh great, now it's Benno's turn. Oh boy.
Hello, people, and hello, people of the Ramblings.
You have 3 minutes. Don't disappoint me.
Alright, my 3 minutes is why the F-111 should return to service and should be highly upgraded. With recent stuff going on in Eastern Europe, I see this platform of this type of system is very useful in combat. I see the new Su-24 Fencer is mounted with Storm Shadows, and that got me thinking. I think it's perfectly the right time for the F-111 to come back in service and come back better than ever, with new systems by Raytheon, Boeing, and Dassault. My F-111 upgrade package will have the same engines as the F-16, better and overhaul radar systems, and a digital display. The new F-111, or the F-111 Plus, will be as designated, will be a good strike aircraft and can strike behind the lines. It'll have better payload capabilities. Its internal bomb bay will be removed to fit more fuel tanks for better ranges. And yeah. That's it.
That's it? That's all you got? Nothing else?
No, my whole thing is like fucking 25 minutes, to be honest.
Give me some more!
Also, Boston and Maine team ones are better than Pennsylvania Railroad ones. Okay.
That's impressive.
Goodbye.
Okay, people really aren't using their full 3 minutes. Now we've got Barbatus, who I don't think I've ever heard speak. If he wants to speak, he's welcome to. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. But it'd be nice. I'm all for new ideas and new associates. Give him a good minute. Never mind. Well, it's time for steak. And Steak's gonna stick the steak in.
Hello.
Well,
I am
Steak,
here now.
Steak, you've got 3 minutes. You know the drill. Coffee pot.
I have not thought about what I'm going to say.
Well, this is your chance to talk to the rambling audience. Like, this is your big chance.
Quick question. I've been doing things and not actually thinking about what I want to say when I inevitably got pulled up.
Okay, Steak, do you want to drop back down for me? If you don't got anything to say.
Yeah, drop me back down.
Okay, does anyone have anything that they actually want to say? Does anyone have anything they're dying to say? For 3 minutes. I'll tell you what, I'll give Grey Ghost his 3 minutes first. And then I will shut up while he speaks. You have 3 minutes.
Coming through.
Come on, Matt, it's all yours. We can hear you, I think.
Well, I want to say 2 main things. One, bringing up the Korean War, which is almost never brought up. The fact, I believe they kept the wrong fighter aircraft for the U.S. Army in service. They should have kept the P-47 with its substantial heavy armament and large bomb load compared to the P-51. And 2, I was wondering how more effective would that ship be by the end of the story compared to the normal Mehan class 4-stack destroyer? I believe they're called.
By that point, it's not a destroyer.
I usually just call them 4-stackers.
It's basically a gunboat. In essence. Destroyerman's a weird one because it's such a radically different design.
Well, the Korean War Jug would have been more effective because of how much ground support those planes were giving. And look at the history of the P-47.
I will point
Look
out,
how many times it's taken tons and tons of damage and just said,
yeah.
screw it, and flies back anyway with its pilot alive, compared to the P-51, which has a inline water-cooled engine. P-47 had a much bigger radial, which was air-cooled, therefore could not be knocked out by a bullet to the radiator, or shrapnel to the radiator.
I will point out that the P-51 is a superior aircraft to the P-47, especially in its
Which is why I said that.
and the
With the shorter range, because of the fuel hungry, the larger drop tanks by the end of World War II meant it could get to Berlin and back.
And the P-47 by
So
career
it would
is
have the
obsolete.
range.
P-47 by career is obsolete. It's an obsolete airframe. It can't serve in the same way it did in World War II. The US has better assets for ground attack work in Korea, and is also working with its
Also might have led to us seeing Super XP-47 into production instead, which would have been interesting.
Possibly, but I think that would have been wasted effort in the jet age. And that's your time. Thank you very much. Okay, so the only other person who was screaming at me for a chance at the big time was, of course... Wait, where is she? Oh, she's there. Fox. Oh. Well, you wanted up, my dear, and now you've got the chance. You have 3 minutes, starting now.
Greetings, all, and welcome to the Church of the Holy Buccaneer. Now let us start of the Buccaneer. The Buccaneer is, by doubt, better than the F-111, better than any CAS aircraft ever made except the Tornado. It is fast, it will sink ships, and it will destroy. It will also sink friendly aircraft carriers, like the one time it almost sunk an American carrier. So, what made the Buccaneer so great? Well, that is obvious. It is fast. Not quite supersonic, but it is incredibly stable for flight at a low altitude. And therefore, it is supremely better than any American CAS aircraft. Thus, you may ask, why? Because lots of bombs, fast, and can get under any air defense. Remember, these were the replacement to the light cruisers the Royal Navy had. This was the ship that replaced a large portion of the Royal Navy in the sinking the Soviet Navy. So, but you see, I see we have a deserter in the audience. You see, the Buccaneer isn't bloody stupid. It doesn't have this retarded concept known as variable geometry. Therefore, it does not force its maintainers to commit seppuku every 4 months.
Hey, Fox, hey.
Yes?
Back to your SR2 better than Buccaneer.
Aha, you may say that, but I will say Buccaneer work with Tornado. End.
Tornado.
So,
Tornado has swing wings, your argument is invalid.
aha, I will counter the fact that with Tornado came out when swing wings actually worked.
Can I get a...
Yes, I know it's a rather questionable fact. Heretic, be gone! Heretic, be gone!
I don't believe it, Chief.
It's the Aardvark. Such a stupid name for such a horrible, disgusting aircraft.
Are you a fatnik?
No! I am a Buccaneer, boo. I am the leader of the Church of the Buccaneer. All hail Blackburn and their slightly special aircraft. Yes, the air brake looks stupid, but tell me, will a conventional air brake be fully effective when you're flying 20 meters off the ocean? Coming in to a low attack run, as was Doctrine said, on a Soviet cruiser.
So you've run out of time.
And so ends the sermon of the Buccaneer.
Wait a minute. Oh, for a second there I thought it was, no, that was down in event room. I thought Rex was here. I was gonna like Rex's hangar is here, but he's not. Well then, gentlemen and other people. I know I'm inclusive. It's great. Now we come to a special event. So, as some of you are aware, I now have the ability to stream to Theatre at Sea, but I've started streaming things and the audience has all left. So, I was wondering, what would you people like to see? If you wanted me to stream something, what would you like me to stream? And would you if as long as I keep answering questions as it goes on, will you stay? I'm not going to expose these poor little people to 3-9. Look, I love 3-9 as much as the next man, but I'm not going to expose them to it. UAD ahoy. I can't stream anything copyrighted. I mean, I can, but just not here. The ability to do 3-9 streams went out the window when we became partnered. Well, no, it was streaming anything, including video games and such. I can stream video games, I can't stream copyrighted films and such. Here, my favourite admiral. No, that's actually not even a joke. Hood is my favourite admiral. Just not even messing around. Hood is a Hood. I trust Hood to co-host because Hood knows things. I don't know things. Dragon, you're not an admiral. You're a communications officer. It's not that I don't trust you to co-host, Dragon. That's not it at all. I just have a certain roster that people come to expect, and well, I know you two are communications officers, but it's a cut to commercial. Cut to commercial! Cut to commercial! Well, how about I stream UAD and me and Dragon argue about 40k? I mean... Problem is, streaming UAD, while I could do it, I'd have to then put UAD on both Discord and YouTube, and that'd be... Hey now, just a minute! Oh no, never mind. Never mind, I've changed my mind. We're gonna keep going. Especially if Hood wants to jump up. Please, for fuck's sake, please. I need your help, Hood. Please, I'm begging. I'm begging on hands and knees. I'm down on my knees, Hood. Please, I'm begging. I need help. I can't go on much longer. Fair enough. In that case then, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you more questions, I guess. More questions. Let's go. Let's have it. If I had the power to make my own historical simulator, what direction would I go? I want Empire fucking Victoria. I want Total War Victoria, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want Total War Victoria. 1820 to 1872. Basically have it end right after the Franco-Prussian War. Finding Victorious received Japanese twin 3-inch 50 mounts in her rebuild? I don't know. Further to this how? I don't know! Why are Americans so against Garretts? They have articulators in Malays, and they don't really care that much. Also, they're British, so why would we use British things? I know I am late. Your typical gunner officer asks, what was the thought process on the design of the Sodak class 1940, which makes them the shortest fast BBs in the world in terms of length? If you want my honest, humble answer, I haven't the foggiest idea. If you must know. I'm going to keep going for another 20 minutes and then I'm going to call it. However, I will be hanging out in Mestex for anybody who wants to come and hang out. So we'll have another 20 minutes of questions, then I'll call it here at 8 o'clock. Ah, cider. Nectar of the gods. Alright, fine. You know what? If you don't want to be like that, everybody gets an invite. Everyone gets one.
Glory to the lion.
Everyone gets one.
For Sanguinius, for the blood!
Everybody gets one.
Yeah, but we at least don't have a genetic defect like you lot.
Everyone gets an invite. Everybody.
We just have a minor problem with traitors.
Everybody
Yes.
gets an invite.
I'm trying to say, I'm praying my kind of heroic death.
dear.
Yours just went to fucking sleep for 10,000 years.
We're doing the funny again.
Oh no.
I am fortified this position.
Technically speaking, he didn't go to sleep, he was put to sleep after the Chaos Gods made a planet explode in his face.
Yes,
Yes.
he should have been put to sleep like an ill dog.
Also, it wasn't even a sleep per se, it was temporal stasis. Don't ask how he aged. We don't get it either.
He went.
I went through the rock that makes you old.
Yes, he did.
No, that's Mirror Caliban Fleet. Where apparently
he
the
could've-
Emperor's shield was located. Don't get that one
I
either.
mean, he could have been submerged in the same fluid the men in Dreadnoughts were. I don't know.
No, but it's described that he was in the basically most advanced temporal stasis field in the Imperium.
Yes,
Oh,
it was actually Xenotech.
Under the watch of, well, the Watchers in the Dark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was,
that's fair.
Time no move.
No clue how this happens.
yeah, it was Xenotech as well, so...
Xenos.
I see
Yeah.
tech heresy.
Yes, it was. It's just why they don't want it getting out, where he
Well,
was.
If we're talking about tech heresy and the Dark Angels, we have a problem. Notably, 99% of our stuff's tech heresy at this point.
Yes,
That
because
just shows
half
how
the
bad
Legion has fallen.
No, it just shows how bad the Mechanicus are. I'm sorry that we have plasma weapons that don't explode.
Yes,
the
it's
rest of
totally
the
not because
peasants.
it's totally not because we're stealing and using Xeno stuff.
It's
Well,
not because our kleptomania is rampant.
Actually, the Dark Angels don't have that problem. That's the Blood Ravens.
Oh, right.
Well, no, the Blood Ravens are the steal everything, including armor of Dead Space Marines that were Kleptomania. The
You mean the
Dark
Malphite?
Angels still steal
Like-
shit.
Like, the Blood Ravens have even stole Custodes armor.
Yes, they have a Custodes grav tank.
Which they really shouldn't. Those things are super rare. Like, even for Custodes, those are rare.
Yes. It's like 7 of them confirmed in existence in there.
Something like that, yeah.
Because only 100 were made and most were lost in the Horus Heresy.
Technical difficulties, please stand by. You know what? Yeah, I'm saving that.
Is that Barham's
Yeah,
sinking?
Yes.
by any chance? Yeah.
I'm saving that.
Yeah.
Every time I see that footage, it just feels awful, because you can see all the people on her. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the picture, and that's some of those pixels are probably people being flung off the.
there's a good version that has been colorized, and it makes it even worse.
I will say the interesting
How
thing
many
about
people were on her hull when it just went up.
Yeah, I
What?
skipped using the upscale because it's got a couple watermarks and some other stuff on it, and that was probably the best
That works
quick and
for-
dirty image I
That
could
works
get a
for
hold
what
of.
is required here.
Yeah,
watching both the black and white and the colorized it's interesting watching the explosion itself because it doesn't look like what you would think an explosion would be. There's no big clouds of flame or a fireball. It's
because it's not a magazine explosion.
It's a boiler detonation, isn't it?
That's water rushing down her funnels, critically overloading her boiler plate and causing a boiler explosion.
It's basically a gigantic steam explosion.
That makes sense, considering in the
I can't
footage.
tell you. There are so many videos of this uploaded that all say magazine explosion.
It wasn't.
Have you seen? Yeah.
That makes
Have you seen what happens to a train?
If you look, her front bow is intact. The front of the ship, where the front of the explosion is intact. Her magazines underneath the turrets haven't gone up.
I wonder if there's anything of Barham left.
That's the thing that always confused me. There's no big shockwave or anything.
Yeah,
I do believe in the footage.
It's the reason why most of those men were actually all right, because it was a boiler explosion, which was contained within the ship's hull.
I'm not sure I'd necessarily say was all right.
Relatively
More of them survived than they had any right to be brutally honest.
Yeah, because the boiler did what the train boilers do, and they go like spaghetti. Fire done. That's what happened there.
It's interesting that you don't see many actual boiler explosions. Our brains are so used to seeing big fireballs.
Well, and the thing about that is, I have the time I spent doing the underwater archaeology part of my grad degree. There are a metric fuck ton of boiler explosions, but they were all in the 19th century when all you had to go off of was somebody's eyewitness account recounting it to a Harper's Weekly illustrator who then drew a lithograph of it.
They don't get it right. But yeah, so we've got another 45 minutes, so now we'll have rapid fire questions, and this time the entire panel can answer them. So first off, your typical gunnery officer. What if during the Cold War all countries got together again and signed another naval treaty starting in the year of 1960? What would the missile area look like if they had if they limit tonnage, armament, etc.? I'm not touching that one. I'm not experienced enough.
It would look probably boring.
Royal Navy would use it as an excuse to try and build the fleet size up again to whatever tonnage they were allowed.
Well, if we have the money to.
It would have existed for about 5 years, and then the US would have gone, but we want super carriers.
Yeah, actually,
so they're just gonna
would they
pull out of this?
Carriers this time far more than previous ones. I suspect so, because most people would then look at carriers and, these are important now. Like, really important. We should place limits on these.
The 60s is the transition to the heavy jet aircraft, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you would likely see the treaty immediately falling apart when people realize these carriers can't carry the aircraft they need to.
Hey guys, guess what? New based content just dropped. I can't post it. I'll send it to each of you directly because it's funny. It's very, very funny.
In reference to the Barham explosion, I think it is a boiler.
I propose we do this after ramblings, because this is funny.
Because even, of course, Wikipedia also lists Barham sinking as a magazine explosion.
Well, I do remember that in the footage, I think you can see the decking just above where the boilers are located, like, flip outward sidewise, like it's being pulled back like a sardine can.
They do, apparently the Board of Inquiry did find the 4-inch magazine did detonate, which could possibly cause one of the 15s to go up.
Fair.
So it is possible as I suspect, if anything, I would probably say it could also be a magazine and a boiler at the same time. Like, just by how it's happening. But also, if the boilers go up, then I suspect a magazine probably will too, by the sheer pressure wave.
Yeah, it's just...
Pressure plus fire equals big explosion.
Yeah, so like a sympathetic detonation, essentially.
Yeah, one goes off and then literally split second later another.
Extra spicy.
From her explosion, though, I'm watching the video by the British Pathé, it looks like the explosion happened right after the funnel.
Yes. This is why everyone and their mother was gone. It's so obvious what it is.
But well, you say that, Fleet, but the actual Admiralty Board of Inquiry also did rule it was a magazine detonation.
but it's not.
It's definitely not.
The problem is I can believe a magazine detonation did occur. I wouldn't say it's the only thing, but I would definitely say a boiler explosion makes sense, judging by what happened. But I could also see a 4-inch causing a detonation, then the main thing going up, and then the 15 going. Though you are correct, a surprising amount did survive at a grand total of 337 survivors. Which is definitely better than nothing.
Quite significantly.
It's interesting that throughout the history of a lot of World War I and World War II, that those sort of explosions don't happen more. I mean, the majority of your ships that sink tend to be just slipping under the waves. I mean, you have to imagine a lot of the engineering, goes to make sure that you don't explode in a giant fireball of death.
Well, yes, because usually if your ship explodes, something's went very badly wrong. Oh my god, the ship is on fire.
Yeah, if I'm correct, that wasn't a large part of like Ironclad and pre-Dreadnought era trying to figure out how to not get the engines exploded by torpedoes, essentially, with the development of TDS. So it'd be very rare for stuff like Steam and Armor X to actually go up at this point.
Would you call the Midway class with an angled deck supercarriers?
And for their time.
Yeah, I guess for the time,
yeah.
they're definitely
Yes.
supercarriers.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you class? I guess the question is, what do you class as a supercarrier?
My immediate response would be a carrier that's bigger than everything else in the time period. And it doesn't have to be some Yamato, super duper thing. It's just big.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason that the sort of tonnage ideals for all the other ship classes got so well defined is because of the treaties. So,
yeah. When did the Midways get laid down again?
1943 apparently was the first one.
Okay, so
October.
Yes, the Forestalls are the first supercarriers in the fleet. Proper ones.
So, ladies and gentlemen, so as I'm sure you're all aware, there is a Drydock event which is a Equestrian at War Hoi 4 game.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Now, Fleet's been testing something on the side.
what have you done?
Earlier? It is, isn't it?
I don't think I've received the thing he sent.
I don't like the look.
I've been testing a revised mod collection, including the Battle Royale mod.
No.
People have been talking the talk, but now I think it's time to see if people can walk the walk.
Fleet, almost every time I fought you, you died.
Wow.
I don't need to prove myself anymore.
And I don't talk the talk because I know I can't walk the walk.
Like, how many times have you died to Griffonia?
Shush.
Or I died as
Griffonia
Griffonia too?
third person if I like because it's funny.
It is pretty cringy.
I don't care.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck what you think.
Now, if you were DMing, maybe I could understand it, but you're not.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Drag.
Drag. Oh, let me see.
Oh no, I don't.
Dragon, do you want to send out the? Do you want me to send out the pings for the D&D?
Probably an idea.
Tomorrow.
If I didn't have work soon, I would love to join.
I need to cause your party more misery. But if there is anyone in the audience who does know D&D, feel free to put some fun monsters in the chat. I might throw them at them.
Yes, I already have Thaumaphores coming.
Yeah, so,
hang on
as we're
one
approaching 8
second.
o'clock, I'm gonna ask it to wind down here. We're gonna wind it down here.
Displacer beasts. They are actually pretty cool.
Thank you very much for joining us, all those on YouTube who have watched, all those on the in Theatre at Sea who have been here for this short but sweet ramblings. More to come in future. Watch out for the Rex, Monroe, and myself ramblings on the campaign that we're doing. in UAD, which will be coming at some point in the next few weeks. Possibly next week, I'll let you know. But yeah, thank you very much. And from me, from the other co-hosts, and from the rest of the communication officer team, thanks very much for coming. Take care, folks, and we will catch you all next time. Goodbye.